Hello, boys and girls. My name is Christopher Columbus. You've probably heard a lot about me. I would like to tell you some things you just might not know. I was born in Italy in 1451 and started sailing on ships when I was just a teenager. I went on many voyages to trade with other lands for things that Italy did not have, like spices. In 1476, on my very first voyage into the Atlantic Ocean, my ship was attacked by the French and set on fire. I narrowly escaped and had to swim for my life. I swam ashore in Portugal. I settled there for a short time and then moved to Spain. I was still interested in sailing and took many more voyages. I learned all about the Atlantic Ocean currents when I was sailing to and from Africa. At that time, sailing east to India was not always safe, so I devised a plan to sail west instead. I had never sailed to India before, and I believed it would be a faster route and safer because no one else was traveling that direction. I was just one man and did not have near enough money to fund this trip, so I went to the Portuguese king for funding. He said no. Later, I went to Italy as well. I got the same answer, no. Finally, I went to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand II of Spain and asked them to pay for my voyage. In return for their help, I would claim any land that I found for Spain and use the route to trade for the Spanish government. What do you think their answer was? Well, it was no. They said no too. But I became very persistent, which means I didn't give up and I kept asking. And eventually, they said yes, and I was given 3 ships to sail west for India. I left Spain in 1492 on the Santa Maria with the Nina and Pinta alongside. We sailed for 36 days and landed on a small island which is now known as the Bahamas. I thought I had landed in India, so I called all of the natives there Indians. Boy, was I wrong. I was nowhere near India. I had discovered a whole new world. As we were preparing to sail home, the Santa Maria wrecked on a reef, and some of the men used the lumber from the wreck to build a settlement. They remained there in what we named Christmas Town, and we returned home to Spain. When I returned home, I gave a glowing report of the ease of the trip and the wonders and riches that we had found. I may have exaggerated a little, but the royals bought it hook, line, and sinker, and funded more voyages to the New World. I returned 3 more times, and eventually the king realized that I had misrepresented the amount of riches that were available in the New World. For a time, I was in a lot of trouble with the King of Spain. On my last voyage to the New World, my ship wrecked, and I was stranded with my men on the island that is now Cuba. Spain sent a rescue party, and I was returned back home to Spain yet again. I bet you would be surprised that during my expeditions, I made many contributions to your life. I brought horses and wheat from Europe, and coffee and sugar from Africa to the New World. I also brought new diseases from Europe that the natives were not able to withstand. I died believing that I had been successful and had found a new route to India. I never realized that in my whole life, I never actually reached India.